I was reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle this morning. I highly recommend it. It's been a really good book so far. Being present can be very scary. To the ego mind. Watch the ego mind become scared. Be the space for it to be scared inside of. If you don't do that, what happens? It deflects the fear, whatever it is, into some other outlet. Food, eating food. That was me a few minutes ago. Furthermore, be the space actually, even for those outlets, mechanisms, it can be the space for those reactions as well. I find it can be useful to exaggerate these reactions sometimes. I hope I'm not giving you bad advice. Like really that little gremlin inside that you're being a space for, really let it take over your whole body. And be present with what that feels like. Be the loving space for it to do its thing. Aww. I think my dog just came to comfort me. when I made those noises. Well, what I'm talking about can be it's much easier to do by yourself or around people that you have very deep safety and trust with. Maybe a dear friend, a marriage partner, but inevitably, as you find there are situations where you can't do that. You can't be the presence for that desire. Well, this is what I was reading in Eckhart's book. What's going on inside of me? And watch. See? And watch. No need to analyze it, put it into words. It may be useful sometimes if something's really overtaking you to put it into vocalizations rather than words. A scream, for example, and you can watch that scream. Ah! Ah! You hear it. Maybe you hear crying. But don't just hear it. Observe your body, how your body feels inside. But if you're around people and you feel a resistance to embarrassing yourself, sometimes it feels like around other people there's just more layers stacked on, and it's thick layers, like thick jungle of vines. But it's not so complicated as that. In those situations, what I advise is still the same thing. If the thing closest to the surface is not the emotion, right, but the resistance to giving that emotion space, then give space to the resistance, right? So whatever you have to work with, give space to that. That would be my advice. Or sometimes actually giving vocalizations, I think, either in your head or embodiments. I think those can be quite useful if you're potentially in a safer space. And then you can be the awareness and see the addictive patterns of your mind and have compassion for them. I think there's overlap here with what I'm talking about and sort of inner child work, sort of being the presence for your inner child. Words are really only approximations here, so it may not be a good idea to cling too tightly to words like inner child, gremlin. This kind of connects to Johnny Carr. No, the easy peasy method by, it might be, it's, Carr is definitely his last name, might be Johnny Carr. And one of the philosophies in that kind of easy peasy method of quitting addiction is to not stop yourself take part in the addiction, but to watch yourself take part in the compulsive actions that constitute addiction to drugs, food, right? Right. And words here lose a little bit words are difficult to apply to the next step of this, I think, because there's a few different angles you could take. And of course, there's only one truth. But the truth is so immediate that words fail to Words are one step too far away from reality to do much more than just sort of point you towards it. Because they don't really mean anything. It's wonderful to be here now with you. It's very pleasant to be in the here and now. Of course, words are just sounds. Let's not take them too seriously. I speak French and English, and it becomes obvious when you compare more than one language that words are just abstract sounds. They don't have an inherent meaning. The word word doesn't inherently mean word. I can confidently tell you that I haven't said a word. This is not a word. This is not a finger. That's why I like music and dance. just pure expression. No pretense of the mind. Right? Pretense. Mind. Word. Sound. 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 So logic isn't really the best way to choose my words. It's better to go into connectedness with the self, being aware of the breath is one tool. Seeing what's going on with my body is another tool. What's going on inside of me? It doesn't have to be the body, it's however you like to take that phrase. Probably will be the body. And then see what comes. And it takes a little bit of courage to do that, because you have to drop the mind a little bit, maybe a lot, because it's not the mind speaking. And as soon as it's not the mind speaking, the mind's gonna say, "Bro, you sound so stupid right now. You fucking twat." You're so embarrassing. Well, so what? So what? Be in the now. Be now. No worries. Hakuna Matata means no worries for the rest of your days. Hakuna Matata. Yeah. My love to you. All right. I'm just watching my own emotions right now. What's coming up for me? Just watching it. And then it sort of dissolves into back into presence. It's nice. It's rather nice. There's a fan going on in the background. Not sure if you can hear that. I just turned on the screen of my computer so I can see what you can see. Well, I'm sure that wherever you are is much more interesting than a two-dimensional screen that you're looking at. I can see lots of specks of dust on my screen. You might want to take a moment to look around. Don't put labels on everything that you see. Nature is very nice. Looking at, if you have a garden or maybe a plant in your room, you could look at that. I'm looking at my garden right now. I spent a lot of time out there. Last year, wasn't working. Still live with my parents. I think I can hear my brother maybe coming home. Look at me labeling sounds. The feeling I'm getting right now is sort of reminding me of that feeling I sometimes get if I'm hanging out with a friend. There's some point where it's getting like late, and there's a long silence. And there's that tension of, wow, are we going to keep going here? Or are we going to call it a day. How comfortable are we with the silence? And sometimes it gets uncomfortable, and then sometimes it breaks through the other end. And like, oh, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. And generally, you know that if you just push through, you'll get through that other side. It's nice. That being said, I think I'm done. But please connect with the consciousness that you are. Breathe. Take a conscious breath once in a while. Think of me. Take a conscious breath. And I'll do that too. Let's do one now, hey? I think that'd be a good way to, we're wrapping things up. I think it'd be a good thing to do near the end here. So let's take a big breath in. Hold. And release. Do another one if you want. Breathe in. And breathe out. Keep going. Keep breathing. Feel it move your body. Let out a sigh if you like. Ah. Ah. Love you lots. Take care of yourself.